now to talk more about BP is Greg Smith. He's Managing Director of Fat Profits. Thanks for joining us to talk to us about this again. Hello. Really, what are you looking for now with BP? Are you looking for the oil spill to be capped, the oil leak to be capped?
Absolutely. I mean, short term, obviously, there's a lot of headwinds, literally. The hurricane season is starting as well. So it's a very hard stock to trade for us at the moment. We're very much looking at it as an investment. I think you need to go in there with a 12 to 18-month horizon. Really, what we need to happen, of course, is for these relief wells to work and to be nothing too serious in the way of hurricane activity, I guess, impeding the clean-up. Politically, we've moved on a little bit following the suspension of dividend payments and the setting up of the fund. So I think that's provided some relief to sentiment, but on the whole, you'd have to say sentiment is fairly negative near term.
Yeah, and so you are thinking that long term this is still going to be a profitable stock, so you don't think that the whole of BP is going to kind of collapse under the weight of this?
Well, yeah, absolutely. The key issue is whether the company is a going concern longer term. We feel that sure there's going to have to be some major changes made in terms of addressing the major operational problems that have occurred. Their safety record is in tatters. A lot of things will need to happen, but do we think the company will be around in 2-3 years' time? Absolutely. We think certainly it's got the balance sheet to do that. It's shored up that in recent times in terms of credit, etc. And I think it's a long road, but in terms of restoring that reputation, really. I guess the other issue is the lawsuits hanging over the company, but really these will be fought out in the law courts over the next 5, if not 10 years.
Now, how important is Russia at the moment to BP?
Russia is highly important. 24% of production, 14% of income, 20% of reserves. It's not going to walk away from there lightly. If anything, after what's happened, BP is probably more inclined to diversify its exposure outside of the US, where it's had all these problems. So I think any thought of its stake in 10k BP being put on the block is it's not going to happen.
No, we're hearing reports that Tony Hayward's heading to Moscow today. Is it very important, clearly, as Russia is crucial for BP, it is important that he can reassure the Kremlin?
Absolutely, and they're looking, I mean, they've actually been relatively supportive, I think, over the past few weeks, given the problems BP has actually had in Russia historically. It's actually important not only to BP but also to Russia. They need the investment of a Western oil major. So I think that's what it will be about this week, reassuring that no, we're not going to fire sale our assets in Russia. We're still committed to the country. We're still committed to investment here. I think that will help politically.
The BP obviously does need to get some money from somewhere. You just don't think that they're going to want to sell out in Russia?
That's right. I think that's 10k BP is very much the jewel in the crown. I don't think that is going to be put on the block. I think they'll be looking more at assets where they don't exercise control. 10k BP is a 50-50 joint venture. Rosneft has been talked about.
Yes.
A bit of a 1.3% stake there. Possibly that could be up for sale. That would raise about $1 billion. But I think we'll really be looking at minority stakes. The North Sea has obviously been talked about. BP has said it remains committed there. Accounts for a much smaller slice, if you like. I guess that historically it would be quite significant to divest those assets.
Now, what about BP's relationship with Gazprom? Can you see them doing any more business together there?
I think partners generally, not just in Russia but globally, will be, I guess, looking for reassurance as well as the government officials that BP is a credible partner, particularly if you're looking at BP versus Shell or one of the other oil majors with the recent records. So I think Gazprom and indeed any partner will be looking very closely, and I guess we'll have a bit of a bargaining chip certainly for the next year or so.
Indeed. And Tony Hayward. He appears to, he's obviously been taken away from the Gulf and sent to Moscow. Do you see him lasting near term, long term?
Well, we're a little bit cautious about his ability to stay there longer term. I mean, not only just the number of PR gaffes that have been made in recent months, but just generally the record, I guess, we've had in the US under his tenure. I think he may well still be somewhat of a scapegoat, the fall guy, if you like, for this. Robert Dudley has been positioned as the go-to guy to oversee the clean-up and beyond in the States. So I think sacrificial lamb, call it what you will, Hayward may well be up there.
Would you be pleased to see Robert Dudley take over?
I think, yeah. I think if he makes his mark in terms of the clean-up, then depending on how that goes over the next 6 months, he could well be the guy to step up.
So all eyes on the Gulf and fingers crossed for no tropical storms to get in the way of the clean-up. Thank you very much indeed, Greg Smith from Fat Profits.